is there a way to prepare for something na hindi pa nga talaga clear? Alam mo yun? Umpisahan natin sa mga nag-aaral pa sa ngayon. Yung mga malapit na, halimbawa, a few months away na lang from graduation. Hey guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. Nako, alam ko maraming mga international students na nandito na sa Canada at maging yung mga posibleng parating pa lang ang nag-aalala ngayon dahil may bali-balita na magkakaroon din ng changes or new rules tungkol sa pag-issue ng post-graduation work permit. Sa kasalukuyan, as of this posting, wala pa pong guidelines na inire-release ang mismong gobyerno ng Canada. Okay? There are just reports based on, ano ba to? Parang nagpa-survey kasi yung gobyerno ng Canada sa mga, I think, educational institutions tungkol dyan. At yun ang basehan ng mga balita. Tama, no, Dayanara?
Yes,
dito
po.
Sa mga sinasabing aasahang changes sa PGWP.
Yes. They sent those to the governments of of those provinces and territories, asking them what their takes are.
Yeah. Welcome back muna kay Dayanara M. Puerto. Siya po ay isang registered
Canadian immigration consultant.
Yan, registered Canadian immigration consultant. And of course, ang may-ari po ng M. Puerto Bantigue Immigration Consultancy. Okay, nako. Una sa lahat, Dayanara, do you have clients now, nagba-back out yung mga gusto mag-international students dito because of these reports?
Well, if we compare it po sa like inquiries that I got like I don't know a year or two ago, syempre talagang konti. Nagsimula yun nung nagbago yung mga rules nung January, tapos nag-update nung February, tapos ngayon may PGWP. So syempre everybody, and it's very smart for them to do na wait it out. Ano ba talaga yung gusto nila? Meron pa bang mga ibang mga bagay na magbabago? Although ito pong PGWP reassessment na to, this is long overdue in my opinion. Because the last time it was modified or updated was 2008, if I'm not mistaken, like 16 years ago. So they really need to modify it or to update it to adhere sa kung ano yung current needs ng Canada. So it's not overdue. It's necessary to do. It's just that, syempre, ako, I'm international student din ako dati. So parang paano masakit sa akin na makita yung agony, kumbaga po, nung iba, yung kanilang anxiety sa kung ano yung mga darating na posibleng change na maaaring maganda ang epekto po sa kanila.
Correct. Yun na nga eh. I mean, as much as we want them to have a new opportunity here in Canada, ang hirap din talaga naman mapasubo sila sa sitwasyon na hindi masyado maganda. This is what I think nga is the Canadian government trying to address, because marami na po rin nahihirapan ng mga international students. Pagdating dito, nahihirapan din po sila maghanap ng mga part-time jobs because there are so many of them, not just international students, but the surge in new immigrants over recent years.
And kasama pa yung mga nagtutourist visa.
So, grabe.
Naka-tourist visa na ang goal ay makahanap ng LMIA or employers na maring magbigay sa kanila ng, let's say, yung iba, dadaan ng caregiver path, yung bukas, yung iba, LMIA. So, parang ang dami nila talaga na understandably na kailangan kahit papano magkaroon ng paraan to filter kung ano yung, kumbaga parang this is a way for me na nakikita ko na parang Canada is telling us na this is what we need.
Yeah.
This is, kumbaga, kung ikaw ay isang international student, you want a successful path, like for permanent residency in Canada, and beyond that, a successful life in Canada, like a job that, kumbaga, to join an industry na hindi ka mawawala ng work, to join an industry with security, with good income, then ito yung mga kailangan namin. And they're being very clear now as opposed to before na ang goal ang mindset talaga ng international student is basta makarating lang kami ng Canada, okay na kami.
Yeah, hindi na pwedeng ganun.
Nang ganun siya ngayon. So you have to be strategic about it. Like I said po during our last conversation.
Yeah. Uulitin lang namin ni Dayanara ha. As of this posting or as of recording namin ito, wala pa po talagang official word from the Canadian government tungkol sa kung ano man ang magiging pagbabago sa pag-issue ng PGWP. Sa ngayon, yung mga napapanood niyo po sa social media as of this posting ay mga, kumbaga, speculations based on a survey done by the Canadian government. Kumbaga, nire-reassess nga sila, nire-reassess nga po nila tulad ng sinabi ni Dayanara, nagtatanong sila sa mga, ano ba, sino ba mga tinanong nila una, Dayanara? Mga students and employers and schools?
I think they will do that too, but under Canadian law po kasi, the IRCC is obligated to ask the provinces.
Oh, the provinces pala. All right.
And territories when making, these types of decisions. Like for example, yung una nilang tanong is, kapag ba nilimitahan namin yung PGWP, base sa mga shortage, base sa mga in-demand occupations, ano-ano yun? Yung gusto, yung suggestions nyo sa amin, base sa pangangailangan nyo sa probinsya nyo. Ayan. So, yung isa nilang tanong is, handa ba yung inyong immigration system na magbigay ng permanent residence, to give permanent residence to those who are actually working in these in-demand occupations. So, and then, ang pinaka-terrifying doon na tanong is yung number 5. If I'm not mistaken, number 5. Yung tanong na yun is, do you think this rule should be applied to all students, including current students? Or do you think it should be applied to yung mga papasok pa lang? Parang ganun yung wording.
Yun na nga eh.
Yung tanong na yun ang talaga nakakatakot para sa akin. Kasi kapag ginawa nila, ibig sabihin, ikaw na pumasok as international student expecting a 3-year PGWP because you are taking a 2-year program may not have it anymore. If, let's say, your program of study is in an industry na hindi siya in demand. Like business.
Nakakatakot niya. Yeah. Hay nako. So again, dyan po nanggagaling yung mga speculation. Nako, baka hindi na mabigyan ng PGWP yung mga kasalukuyang nag-aaral. O sila ang mas magiging problemado sakali nga kasi nasa plano nila yun, syempre, 'di ba? Post graduation work permit ako tapos let's say next month graduate, biglang magkaroon ng new rules. Uwi na ako ng Pilipinas, parang ganoon. Nangyayari?
Nag-aral pa ako sa public school. Nasa public school pa ako kasi nga pinili ko talaga yung public school kahit medyo mahal. Kasi nga, ang gusto ko is yung 3 years na PGWP. Diba? Parang masakit siya. Pero, kung titingnan naman po natin yung rules ng Canada before, yung IRCC, kung paano sila mag-lay down ng mga rules nila. Like for example, yung pagtatanggal ng eligibility sa mga spouses of international who are taking diploma and certificate programs, yung mga under master's programs, ganyan. Hindi nila yun ginawa na parang pati yung mga naka-apply na is parang pati yung mga kasalukuyan na nakapagpasa ng visa kasama, hindi. Parang nagbigay po sila ng cut-off. Actually, hindi sila nagbigay agad ng cut-off. Parang dinelay muna nila na ilang linggo sa kanila chinop na parang okay, ito na yung date ng cut-off namin. Usually, ito nga po yung sinasabi ko, IRCC is usually not that cruel. Na parang magbababa sila, mag-chop sila like, eto na, dito na kami. Usually, hindi naman sila ganun.
Nako, sana magrilang anghel ka.
Nagbibigay sila ng date na parang, eto na yung cut-off namin, kapag dito ka, para pong yung nangyari sa mga private DLIs, na, di ba, ang naging rule nila is, pagka nag-start kayo beyond this intake, parang hanggang dito na lang kaming date. Pagka nag-start ka ng school ng ganitong date, may PGWP ka pa. Kapag lumagpas ka, hindi na. So, usually meron naman silang gano'n na parang buffer na ibibigay. So that's what I would expect from them, na if they would tighten all of these rules when it comes to PGWP, they would give a date. And that's what we're waiting for.
And hoping for. Sana nga.
merong buffer na ang
Oo.
nakikita ko na tingin ko hindi masyadong maapektuhan would be graduate degree students, yung master's degree holders o yung mga nag-aaral ng master's kasi po kaka-modify lang nila nung February 2024. So I don't think they would change it again. Diba they said na pagka 1 year ang iyong master's, kahit 1 year lang siya, 1 year mo lang siya matapos, you're still eligible for 3 years of PGWP. So that was parang that rule was handed down in February 2024. I don't think it'll change again like within the same year.
Yeah.
Doon ako nag-worry sa mga graduate, yung mga post-baccalaureate diplomas, certificates, post-secondary diplomas and certificates.
Ay, nako. So what do you advise? Is there a way to prepare for something na hindi pa nga talaga clear? Alam mo yun? Umpisahan natin sa mga nag-aaral pa sa ngayon. Yung mga malapit na, halimbawa, a few months away na lang from graduation. How can they prepare for this now when, yan nga, wala pa talagang clear rules? At ang isa pang nakakabahala, Dayanara, we know that the government, ang bilis nila talaga magbago ng isip, magbago-bago ng policies. So, yeah, I think these people should also start preparing as early as possible. Diba? Anong ina-advise mo sa kanila?
To be honest, if you're like a few months away from graduation, it's going to be very hard to make like such a drastic decision. Hindi ka na pwede magbago ng program. Hindi ka na pwede, you know what I mean? So, let's say if you have the fund for it, if you still have like, some sort of funding that you can somehow utilize, and nasa 4th semester ka na, ganyan, I would say medyo mahal lang po itong option na ito, but extend your study and go for a healthcare-related program or a construction-related program for 2 more semesters.
Oh my. Bakit 2 more semesters only?
Apo, kasi kadalasan ng mga, let's say, healthcare aid programs, healthcare assistant programs, personal support worker, carpentry, yung mga yan, kadalasan, they are 1-year programs only.
Okay.
So, mas madali kasing mag-extend. When you do an extension, as you don't even require a provincial attestation letter, because you're merely extending your permit, so your study permit. So para pagka-graduate nila, they extend their stay as they extend their status as a student, and then graduate with like parang a diploma or a certificate in an in-demand occupation.
Yeah. Oo. Ay nako. Swerte siguro yung mga naka-enroll sa in-demand na inaasahang in-demand. Again, I will never know.
Nandun na sila sa loob. Yeah, exactly. Ang iba pong mga clients ko, ang nagtatanong sila sa akin, pwede pa ba akong magpalit, ma'am? First sem pa lang ako pwede pa ba akong magpalit? Okay. Ang sinasabi ko, pag first sem ka pa lang, kahit pa paano, hindi siya ganun kasakit. You will lose like that 1 semester, but you gain the preservation, kumbaga, of the chance for a good GWP if you switch.
Correct.
If you switch to like, let's say, change your program to something na mas linya dun sa kung ano yung IT, ganyan, IT or healthcare or construction related na siya.
Okay. Ay nako. So, again, advice lang yan ni Dayanara, but there is still no guarantee if that will, get you your PR status eventually. But that's her advice. If you want to extend.
Those are some things that they can do. And I know that, syempre, hindi naman ganun kadaling gawin yun. Na parang magtatapon ka ng isang semester. Pero, if kasi, nga po, like ko sinasabi, nakikita ko yung mga kapwa ko PR, yung mga ibang citizen na dito, na bumabalik naman talaga sila sa pag-aaral. And pumapasok sila dun sa mga fields na yon. So, if you are, let's say, message naman po ito para dun sa mga naghahanda, yung mga nagpaplano pa lang, kung sila na may mga status na dito ay pumapasok sa mga industry na yon, it may be something you should consider na ikaw pa lang, napapasok ka sa Canada, dun ka na pumasok. Kumbaga, dun ka na luminya.
Sige.
Diba?
Ano ba pala, what industries or career paths would you suggest? Okay. Again, hindi to guarantee. This just, I guess, increases your chances of landing in an industry that could be determined as, mga in demand dito sa Canada, which increases your chances na baka mabigyan po ng PGWP. What career paths would those be?
Well, number at the very top would be healthcare. So healthcare aide, healthcare assistant, practical nursing, even occupational therapy assistant, physical therapy assistant, yan yung healthcare. Yan.
Yeah, okay.
That's all provinces, priority nila yan. Ontario, BC, Alberta, sa mga express entry draws nila, they usually run like a separate draw for healthcare workers or nagbibigay sila ng mas mababang score as their minimum requirement for those with healthcare experience. Number 2 would be construction because that's what Canada plans to do, I believe. Yes.
Really? Okay. Construction.
That's what Canada plans to do for the next, I believe, decade is to build homes because I think of all the G7 countries, Canada is the one na may pinakakonting bahay for the population that we have. Yeah, so that's why construction will be extremely in demand in the future. Specifically, yung mga kakaibang skill set, yung sa glass, sa woodwork, cabinet making, insulation, yan, HVAC, ganyan. So, there are very good programs on it. For example, George Brown has, I believe, a 3-semester program on construction techniques na I think first sem is carpentry, second sem is HVAC, third sem is welding, parang ganon.
Nice.
So parang you get all of them.
Ang daming skills na nun, agad.
In one program. Yeah. So yung those are the programs that I would recommend that they find. Or of course, I'm as an education consultant and then RCIC, I can help with that.
Yeah.
But those are the programs that they magandang i-target. Kasi at least yun talagang kumbaga worth your while, your time, and your money.
How about yung mga IT related?
Oh, definitely. Especially if you're already an IT professional, I would say invest in a program like artificial intelligence, analytics, cybersecurity. Yan. These are very good programs to take because yun yung kailangan talaga ngayon, especially AI.
Nako, yan. Oo nga. Nako, so yung mga sige, go ahead.
Iba po software, kaya lang like sinasabi na iba na you don't wanna compete kasi ang dami ng nasa software.
Oh, ganun ba?
Yeah, but AI, cybersecurity, these are very good. If you already have like a firm IT background and you wanna improve yourself, there are a lot of those programs that you can take. So fourth, healthcare, construction, IT, engineering, also related to construction din po kasi. Okay. So that's also great. And then fifth will be agriculture.
Oh, okay. And of course, Dayanara, they should consider where they're taking these courses. Let's say, if agriculture, wag kayo kumuha ng eskwelahan dito sa Toronto, di ba? Parang ganun ba?
Pag Toronto, so syempre IT.
Yeah, okay.
Ganyan, IT tayo, healthcare, ganyan, healthcare yan. Pero pag finance, also good. Like merong mga programs po na kombinasyon ng finance and IT. Yeah. Like fraud detection, yan, magaganda yung mga ganong programs. So agriculture is the fifth. I would say early childhood education. Actually, Ontario just had like a specific draw for ECEs like a few days ago. So Nova Scotia has a parang sole program for ECEs, talagang dedicated program for PR for ECEs. So I would say early child education is still a good option or a good program to take. Ano pa ba? So those are the 6. I would say veterinary. Ang BC,
okay, nice.
BC is priority nila yung veterinary. So
okay. Yeah. Marami din naman, but yun nga, no, sa mga malapit na ring umalis, medyo hassle yan if you will be making these last-minute changes, pero nasa sa inyo yan. O, diba? We're just giving you options sa mga nag-aalala Do you think a lot of Filipinos will be affected by this? Kasi alam ko yung marami mga Pinoy din na kumukuha halimbawa ng mga general kung ituring na courses, no? Like mga business administration.
Business. Opo.
Diba?
Yun kasi yung pinaka-common, ma'am kasi paano ba? Nung natatrabaho ko as education consultant, isa sa trabaho ko is tulungan sila sa pagde-defend ng mga program na ite-take nila. Napaka-fluid kasi po ng business
Oo.
Napaka-fluid niya kasi na kahit sino pwedeng kumuha, kahit sino maaari magkaroon ng magandang defense kapag kumuha sila ng related sa business.
Yeah.
Yun yung sana hinihiling ko na baguhin ng IRCC. Yung sistema nila na kailangan yung program na kukuhanin mo is related sa edukasyon mo at sa background ng naging trabaho mo. Otherwise, i-refuse ka nila at bibigyan ka nila ng refusal na purpose of visit. Yun yung hinihiling ko na sana baguhin nila. Na if you want, like if IRCC, if the government of Canada wants people to go into healthcare, to go into construction, then make this, yung kanilang application para mag-aral, kumbaga, make it easier for people to transition into these occupations. If they will stick to that rule na parang yung visa officer i-refuse ka kapag ka, let's say, dentista ka tapos biglang gusto mong mag-construction. Ganyan. Nire-refuse nila yun Nire-refuse ng IRCC yung mga yun. Sayang. Gusto niyo mag-construction sayang. Diba? Parang gusto niyo mag-construction. Parang I would say if there's modification siguro sa system nila na kailangan gawin, it's that. Na let people shift into these careers even though their backgrounds are different. Hopefully they listen somewhere, the powers that be.
Yeah. Okay. Ay nako. Ito naman, maybe some just are thinking, ayoko na talaga na lang mag-international student pathway. Okay, so Dayanara, bilang, an immigration consultant, would you advise me to take other pathways instead na lang? Sa mga hindi pa naman nakaka-enroll, yung tipong very early planning stages pa lang sila into moving to Canada, would you advise them to take other career paths or pathways rather?
To be honest, the study permit pathway should be your last resort.
Oh, okay.
If you have, because it's expensive.
Okay.
It should be the final talaga wala ka nang masuutan. It should be the final last resort. If you have the opportunity to land as a PR through, let's say, a provincial nomination program, why not? If we have an opportunity to become a caregiver, lalo ngayon, diba, there's a new pathway coming in that they will land as
PR. So naman, lumuwag naman yun sa caregiver.
Lumuwag kasi may pangangailangan. But if you have the opportunity for that, you have an employer who's qualified, you yourself are qualified, meaning meron kang background talaga po sa caregiving, like you're a teacher, you're a nurse, or this is really the career you live in, let's say Hong Kong or Singapore as a domestic helper, yung bang meron ka talagang maipapakita sa Canada na, okay, I can perform this job as a caregiver, why not?
Yeah.
Diba? Kasi yun, walang LMIA yun. Only an employer who's qualified, kumbaga yun ng cornerstone nung type ng application na yun. Let's say you have an employer who is offering an LMIA, pwede rin yun.
Okay.
Although walang
mas madali pa ba kung mag-tourist sila? At mas malakas pa ba chances nila? Would you advise that? Kasi marami pa rin naglalakas loob,
Very
tourist,
difficult.
Maghanap ng trabaho.
Opo, very difficult and like I said, very prone to scams. Kaya hindi ko din talaga ma-recommend po. But if you have like a relative in Canada na pwedeng mag-host sa'yo to alleviate some of the costs, if you have, let's say, someone who's endorsing you to a particular job with an LMIA, then yes. But understand po na yung iba, parang narinig ko to like a few days ago watching Omni News na there were times na parang pag tourist visa ka, mag-flag polling ka, may LMIA kang hawak, they would parang give you like misrepresentation, like parang bababaan ka ng rule na misrepresentation kasi pumasok ka as tourist tapos ngayon bigla ka nagpa-change to a work permit.
Really? Nakakatakot.
They can do that. Kasi the intent that you said when you applied for your tourist visa is to visit. So why are you now applying to work? Legally you can, but they can, of course, question your intent.
Oo. Depende na naman ito sa sasalubong sa'yo na immigration officer. Kasi yung iba naman walang problema, di ba? Nakaka-flag po lang. Kaya nga eh.
Pero, if you have those other options, and if I had those options during the time ng 2019, I would have probably grabbed one of those instead of the study permit kasi nga po mahal. But understand na for a lot of people whose kumbaga circumstances do not allow them to take advantage of these other pathways, the study permit remains to be the only choice. The only choice. So, my take would be use it, but use it wisely.
Yeah. Ay, nako, again, preparation is key. Lipas na ang mga panahon na basta makakuha ka ng kurso at makadating ka lang dito, bahala na si Batman, saka mo hindi na po pwede ngayon doon. And I think kasi nga, the student pathway, let's be frank about it, it really was not built for a PR pathway.
Yes.
Diba? Para siyang naging, loophole or nakita yung paraan na, ay, posible pala.
Pwede pala.
So, ngayon, nakikita ng gobyerno ng Canada na parang, sobra-sobra na abuso na itong pathway, ginagamit na alternative doon sa ino-offer talaga nilang express entry, provincial nomination programs. Ayun na nga, that's why they're fixing it. Diba? Ideally, talaga the student pathway are for, students, para mag-aral. Diba? Uwi ka sa pinanggalingan mo. Parang binibigyan lang nila ng option noon na, sige, if you do well here anyway, nandito ka na, mag-work ka, and then eventually you can be PR. But again, times have changed. Sobrang dami na po kasing immigrants dito sa Canada, no?
And kumbaga, I mean, I believe the economy is improving. That's why they binaba ng Bank of Canada yung rate from 5 to 4.7. It's a sign that the economy is improving in some way, but it's still difficult, like all over the world naman. I mean, UK, Australia, all of them are modifying, updating. Actually, ang Australia nga may may yung parang PGWP nila, I read, is like they have like an age requirement.
Oh, may ganun na
parang 50 below na lang.
Okay.
So, in Canada, walang ganun eh. Pero isa yun sa maaaring maging modification kapag ang hino-hope ko lang po, ma'am, is ganito. Ang best case scenario for me is hopefully pag bumaba yung PGWP rules is number 1, keep the 3-year kumbaga provision for those who are studying for 2 years. Keep it. Hopefully they keep it. Sana ang magkaroon lang nung changes, let's say yung 1-year PSW students na gustong magkaroon ng longer na postgraduate work permit, sana magkaroon ng provision for that. Na instead of giving them just a year dahil nagtatrabaho sila sa isang in-demand occupation, sana bigyan sila ng longer than a year. O kaya, pwede naman na, sige, bibigyan namin kayo, i-extend namin kayo ng 1 year, ganyan. Basta mapoprove nyo sa amin na you remained working as a PSW, ganyan.
Yeah.
All throughout. Baka sana may ganun na lang. Na instead of taking the PGWP away from the other students, i-reward na lang yung mga pumili talaga na magtrabaho sa mga in-demand occupations.
Yeah.
Sana ganun na lang. Sana ganun na lang.
Sana nga, we'll see. Alam mo, the thing is, we don't even know when these rules are gonna come out. Ano ba to, in next month or baka next year? Hindi natin
natin alam. Pero,
ano?
I mean, pwede rin po kasing ang gawin nila is, okay, sige, kung gusto mong mag-extend yung PGWP mo, dito ka mag-work. Punta ka sa Northern Ontario o punta ka sa Northern BC, ganyan, o Atlantic Canada, doon ka pumunta, ganyan. Baka magkaroon sila ng parang reward system for those who are willing to relocate in less populated areas to decongest like Toronto.
Buti na kung gano'n na lang sana, okay na din yun kung gano'n, di ba?
A lot of them would jump on it. Like, like a lot of these international students would jump on that opportunity just to keep it. But the reality is, As opposed to before, na talagang, you would say, pag pumasok sa Canada, when they get the study permit, there's like an 80-90% chance they would become a permanent resident. It's not the same anymore.
Yeah.
I am now in talks with clients na mag-expire na yung visa, yung PGWP nila in October or December, no PR pathway inside.
Ay, nako po.
So,
Ay, nako. That could be for a different episode. That could be for a different episode.
And when I chose to do the study permit in 2019, I never thought that could happen.
Oh, no.
Now it's happening. So, the earlier you can get advice, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ang dami pa nating pwede pag-usapan sa totoo lang. Yan, options na mga mag-expire ng PGWP na wala pang clear PR pathway. Anong options nila? Actually, another more general topic is mahirap ba talaga ang buhay na dito sa Canada? Kasi yan ang issue lang ng maraming nasa Pilipinas na nanonood, hindi na pala, naghihirap na daw pala yung Canada. That could be it for a different episode, di ba? Bilang immigration consultant din naman talaga si Dayanara, no?
And also, probably we can do that like on a forum.
Oo, ang mahaba-habang usapan kasi.
Iba-ibang views. Kasi syempre iba-iba ang sitwasyon.
Yes.
Like, is this person a homeowner? Because if you're a homeowner, sometimes your life tends to be a little difficult because of the mortgage. Is this person a single person or a married person? Does this person have kids? Saan ba siya nakatira?
Yeah.
Ayan, yun yung mas malaking dun saan ba siya nakatira? So magdedepende yung cost of living doon.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are
Ay, nako. Yeah.
Ina, that we can talk next time.
Oo, at sana game ka pa din for future episodes. Parang guys, parang free consult na nga to libreng TF tayo kay professional fee kay Dayanara, di ba? Ay nako. Anyway, we will cut this episode here and this episode here. Marami ka na nabigay na tips para sa I'm sure mga nag-aalala. Kasi yung ibang content na napapanood natin, di ba, we rarely see mga registered immigration consultants talking about this, di ba? So it's good to hear from someone like Dayanara. Hi, okay. Maraming salamat, Dayanara. And
thank you, Miss Ina. Regards to you and your family.
Oh, thank you. And we hope to see you more doon sa mga topic na nating nasabi. Okay.
Yes.
Here. Bye, everybody.
Bye po.